Ooh, what's up, everybody? My name is OMG, WTF to WBRB. Welcome back to more Total Extreme Wrestling 2016. We are in the year 2002, and we are rebooking the Brand Era Season 2 to the Invasion series. I almost said playlist. Either way, tonight we'll be booking Monday Night Raw. We're in the third week of May, so we're close to our pay-per-view. It is a Raw exclusive. No. It's a Nitro's pay-per-views next. So Monday Night Raw is still building up to their next pay-per-view, which may be a crossover. It might be the King of the Ring pay-per-view, or it may be the Raw exclusive pay-per-view. I think it might be King of the Ring, though. It's, let's see, May, April. No, it's probably Raw, because I think King of the Ring we have in August or in the middle of June, and it's in July because we have it in the middle of June and August. I think. I don't know. Who cares? Anyway, let's just move on from that. It's been quite a long time since we have uploaded here, but I've kept to my promise of uploading at least one episode of each series once a month. I fit my criteria last month with February, and it is now March. So far so good. But who knows? We might fit that criteria a little bit more in March here because a little bit of a different take here, as I'm sure a lot of you have heard in the news and probably really tired of hearing about in the news. There's that whole Corona thing going on. So who knows, if I get quarantined or something, maybe I'll have enough time to actually book another episode in between this month and the next month. I know the CAC got moved back, which sucks, but I was expecting it to. But in all realness, no, stay safe, everyone. I don't think it's a super big deal as it's being made out to be, but it's still a pretty big deal. I mean, think about it. This thing started in January, and we're only 3 months in, and it's already almost pretty much around the whole world. Just stay safe, everyone. Anyway, let's step out of the real world and step back into our own fictional, fake world that I think we much rather prefer to talk about. So, take a drink of our sponsor, not sponsor of the video, Monster Energy. Thank you, as always, Monster, for not sponsoring me. But you can if you want to. I would like some money. This intro's gone on a little long here. I don't really remember what happened all last week anyway. I know some things happened, but I don't remember off the top of my head. And like I said, we're going on a little long, so let's just go ahead and start this damn show anyway, because I still got to get to sleep because I got work later tonight. Excuse me. Anyway, we open the night with our first pre-show match. We'll have 3 pre-show matches here tonight. By the way, we are in Hawaii, only in front of 9,411 people. But that's more people that Raw than we're in front of this week, am I right? All right. Anyway, we have an abysmal pre-show match here to open up the... wow, to open up the show, we have an abysmal match. The Pimp Party, Val Venus, and The Godfather going over the Ballard brothers, Shane and Shannon Ballard, 2 of our developmental talents. Kind of just a way to not only get them a little bit of, popularity, not in the world because it's the pre-show, so only Hawaii, but a little popularity outside of, wherever they're based at right now. And the Pimp Party here were a little bit low in the momentum, so to help get their momentum up, I decided to give them a victory. Of course, Tracy doing some good work ringside. She'll have a big night here tonight because she has an advertised match against Molly Holly. If you remember last week on Raw, or I always say last week because, in story it's last week, but last time we had Raw, which has been a while, Tracy, I believe, I think it was Tracy. I said Tracy like 3 times there, not 4. But one of the two, Molly or Brooklyn, put the challenge out, and it was accepted. I think it was Tracy who put the challenge out, and then Molly went on to accept it. Either way, though, she'll have a big match here tonight, so that's to look forward to. She did do some good work ringside, of course, having excellent chemistry with the Godfather as well. Godfather had an in-ring performance of a 52. Val Venus 1 point better with a 53. The Ballard brothers with a 14 and a 13, with Shane outperforming Shannon. I don't think they have much popularity at all, though, so I'm not really sure what their popularity is, but that could be pretty bad. Moving on. Our second pre-show match is even worse, but of course it seems like we had an awkward bout here, so That's unfortunate. But again, borrowing Jillian Hall from our developmental territory to help get Lufisto not necessarily over, because again, this is a pre-show match, so she's only really gaining popularity here in Hawaii, which I'd argue is probably one of the least important areas in the North American region to get. But it's mostly just to help get her momentum up. She's taken a lot of L's recently, so it's a way to get her from negative to at least maybe positive or neutral. So 21 E- rating for this matchup here. Abysmal pre-show matchup. Lufisto goes over Jillian Hall in 3 minutes 3 seconds by submission. I missed the last one, by the way, but that's fine. Lufisto is getting better at her gimmick, which is promising. And unfortunately, as I mentioned prior, her and Hall just didn't click, made for an awkward bout, which sucks, and because already it was going to suck because they don't really have much popularity, but that doesn't help it. Jillian with an in-ring performance of a 10. Lufisto with a 29. Again, remember, they were affected by this, so it could have been better, so that's a bit promising. I'm not going to lie. Moving on, we have our main event of the pre-show, which will see the Angles in action. 65 solid C rating here, as we have have a poor pre-show matchup here with the Angles going over the Boogie Knights in 8 minutes 10 seconds when Eric Angle defeats Alex Wright by pinfall. Excuse me. The way I'd imagine this one going down is maybe Kurt gets the Angle slam, or maybe he even has the ankle locked in, but he's a little too close to his corner, so Eric likes to take the tag from him, and then he comes in, does a move, maybe his own version of an Angle slam. That's what I'd imagine, probably him also using the Angle slam, and proceeds to pick up the victory. But that would mean that he got the finishing move, so that's why I would say I think maybe you would have Kurt hit an Angle slam on Alex Wright. Maybe Wright was going to the top rope to hit his finish, and Kurt comes up and hits him with the Angle slam, and I don't know. It'd have to be in his corner, but you get what I'm saying. Eric pretty much steals the victory here. Kurt carries the match in terms of in-ring performance, as to be expected, and of course, as to be expected as well. Eric Angle was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everybody else. I mean, Das Wunderkid Alex Wright is pretty damn good in his own right, and Disco Inferno actually outperformed Alex Wright, which I'm kind of surprised about. So Disco himself is getting pretty good. So anyway, Kurt Angle looked excellent out there. No surprise there. Eric with an in-ring performance of a 38, which, not going to lie, it's not the best, but I think it's somewhat promising considering, yeah, it's below his popularity. I believe it's below his popularity. I think he's in the 40 region now. So I think he's performing a good, maybe 2, 3, maybe even 5 points below his popularity. Maybe even 10. I don't know. He's at 38. He could be at 45, so. But we were never expecting 5 stars out of Eric Angle. Point being is we can get him over. He was never going to be a main eventer, but we can get him over. He's not useless. Well, he kind of is, but he's not entirely useless. Anyway, Kurt Angle with an in-ring performance of an 85. Disco with the 51, and Das Wunderkid with a 50. Alex Wright also improving in his performance skills, so good for Das Wunderkid. I'm not sure if I mentioned this in one of the previous videos, but just in case I didn't, I made the trade because these two are on Nitro, but they weren't really getting used on Nitro, and I like this team. And Monday Night Raw kind of needed more talent, and I think more heels. No, they don't need more heels. They definitely need more faces. But anyway, it was another team to add to the ranks, and just someone to be on Monday Night Raw that maybe can take an L here and there, and maybe also feud with some lower people to help get him over. Anyway, moving on to our next segment, and hey, that doesn't mean anything. Before we move on to the next segment, that just because I said that they're most likely be losing most of the time, they could impress me, and maybe they will get over. You never know. You never know. Okay. Now let me catch my breath and, get some hydration in my mouth, I guess, since I'm only drinking this monster here. And we open up the show with a 74 B- rating here, gaining heat for the downfall of the Dead Man story, which I guess in a way is good that it gained heat for it, but honestly, it should have just been a more of a minor segment, not something that really was major that affected the storyline. Anyway, this is just kind of like, the fireworks go off. I don't know. That was kind of cheesy. It made those firework noises. They just all the fireworks are blowing off. You got JR and King there. Welcome everybody to the Monday Night Raw. I'm good old JR, and joining me here is Jared the King Law. We got an action-packed show here for you tonight. The WWE Championship is on the line as the owner of the company, Vince McMahon, will be taking on the Undertaker. And he's doing it just to save Eric Bischoff's soul. I never would have thought I would have said that, King. And then King's all like, I know, JR. Eric Bischoff and McMahon together? Who would have thought? Just kind of putting over the whole unlikely friendship that Vince McMahon and Eric Bischoff have formed here. And who would have thought that out of all things to get Vince McMahon to come out to take on the Undertaker and, finally step up and say, all right, Taker, let's do this. You want me? I'm here. Is Taker kidnapping Eric Bischoff practically. So that's kind of what they're putting over here. And they're also kind of putting over, but will he really show up? I mean, he says he'll be here, but will he be here? So kind of like one of those things. So really hyping up the main event here tonight for the WWE Championship between Vince McMahon and The Undertaker. And just kind of hyping up the story of, is he going to show up? Is he really, that close to Eric Bischoff? Or is a week finally made Vince McMahon kind of come to his senses that this is the man that almost put him out of business? Anyway, that did gain heat for the storyline. So, of course, you never can hit JR. You never can hate JR and Jerry the King Lawler. Are you stretching back here, Blue? Oh, the dog's over here stretching. Interesting. We then go on. I would imagine that maybe King and JR are still kind of hyping up the show before they're interrupted by Hulk Hogan coming out, which, by the way, not to Real American, definitely to that Jimi Hendrix song. I don't remember what it was, but it's that that one. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Hold on real quick. I gotta get up and let my dog out. Go on. Alright. Sorry about that. But he would have been annoying. So anyway, during that whole time I was letting my dog got out, Hulk Hogan finally makes his way out to the ring with, all the posing and whatnot with the crowd. We get a little bit of a recap during the time that he was making his way down to the ring, of course, with his feud with the Clique, kind of showcasing, WrestleMania when Nash and Hall betrayed him, Hogan taking out Scott Hall. Just the back and forth right now between them. And then, of course, once in the ring, like I said, Hogan poses. Hogan must pose. And then he takes to the mic and he goes, well, let me tell you something, brother. That's a horrible Hulk Hogan. Now, I've got something to get off my chest, and I had to get it off for a while now. I haven't exactly been myself, and this goes back to my days in WCW. You see, money corrupts. Horrible Hulk Hogan. And the more money I made, the more I lost the old Hulk Hogan dude. And turned into this new Hollywood version of myself. I screwed over Vince McMahon in the WWE. I jumped ship to WCW and made even more money. And that's where I met both Kevin Nash and Scott Hall. And we formed the New World Order. And the rest was history. But it never once occurred to me that those guys were using me. Should have, but it never did. It never once crossed my mind that my so-called friends would stab me in the back. A little bit better at the very end there. And yet it all happened. I was just a part of some elusive scheme for the Clique to take over. Kind of turning into Ripper Savage there, though, at the same time. Well, that's not happening on my watch, Jack. Because let me tell you something, Clique. Pulling up the handy-dandy notebook, dude. You may think you got the numbers on your side, but what you don't realize is that it's not 4 against 1. It's 4 against Hulk Hogan and all his Hulkamaniacs, dude. And what you gonna do when Hulk Hogan and every single Hulkamaniac runs wild on you? Holy shit. I was giving up almost through that, but don't worry, I made it through. And then finally, of course, Stephanie McMahon's music's cue, and she cuts off Hulk Hogan. Out she comes, and she just kind of looks annoyed, to be honest. And she just says, Hogan, you're pathetic. You come out, you tell us this sap story of how you're a changed man. You're not changed. You're just mad that you're not getting your cut of the check anymore. You're just mad that Hall and Nash played you and your ego for years, making millions off of you. While they had their own plan, excuse me, I should have, while making millions off of you while they had their own plans. Excuse me, I messed up my own sentence there. I wrote a lot of these in between. You got to remember this stuff. Anyway, moving on. And you people are just stupid for falling for his stupid crap. Do you really believe that Hulk Hogan has actually changed? Please. Oh, great. Here we go again. I'm going to kill my voice tonight. Well, why are you out there and not with the rest of the clique? Let me guess. You're here to provide the distraction so they can jump free from behind. You think I'm stupid? No. It's actually because that would imply that, we cared about you, which we don't. In fact, I'm out here. Crap, my voice is giving out for me, that Hulk Hogan. That you killed me. Okay, moving on. I'm out here just to let you know that this business between you and the clique ends here. You may not be done with us, but we are sure as hell done with you. We won't let you distract us from what we want anymore. So, just drop it. You and I both know that the clique and I are done for being over. You saw what I did when I got my hands on Scott Hall. Just imagine what's going to happen when I get my hands on everyone else. Just imagine how bad I'm going to beat the crap out of your husband, Triple H, when I get him alone. Well, none of that's going to happen. What happened to Scott Hall was the first and the last time you'll get your hands on anyone in the clique. So just drop it already. I'm not dropping anything, Jack. I'm coming for the clique. Oh, hold on, ready? I have to add something on to that. I don't like that ending. I'm coming for the clique, so you and them better watch their back. That's pretty cheesy, but whatever. Well, you won't be getting them tonight or anytime soon, because they decided to not waste their time with Monday Night Raw and went out to party. I mean, we're in Hawaii, for crying out loud. In fact, that's where I'm going. I only came out here to see the Undertaker bury my father 6 feet under. But seeing how my dad isn't even here yet, I doubt he's even going to show up. So with that being said, I'm done wasting my time here, and I'm done wasting my time with you, Hogan. And then Stephanie leaves. Hulk Hogan, looks around to the crowd one more time and looks over at me because he knows I'm about to have to do his voice one more time. And I'm not looking forward to that. Well, if the clique is out partying tonight, then I think it's high time Hulk Hogan brought the party to them. So, yeah. Looks like Stephanie says they're done with the clique, but they're not. And, I don't know, Hulk. You might want to watch yourself, but who am I to say something? Anyway, our backstage is now at 8%. We're no longer at 0%, which is good. Bradshaw made a mess in the locker room, so Judge JR made him clean it up. Also good. Again, not sure if I fixed the Trish and Lita gimmicks, but I guess we will find that out here tonight. Hawk, Road Warrior Hawk, has officially retired. Oh, no, he's not officially retired, but he's retiring. Vampiro is now muscular, so good for Vampiro. And Mr. Perfect is now flabby. Not so good for him. Danny Davis died, who was one of our owners of our developmental territories. I forget which one. I want to say maybe it's Ohio Valley Wrestling, but I'm not sure. We made Dave Republic the new owner and Scott D'Amore the new booker. Dixie Carter, known for her TNA fame, is actually now the CEO of WWC. I forget which company that is exactly or what the name stands for, but I believe it's that Puerto Rico company that Carlos Colon owns. And Jimmy Snuka has officially retired, so court case can come anytime, Snuka. Just saying. Anyway, moving on. Wish I would have read that segment better, but that Hogan segment really killed my voice. So anyway, we go to a 41 solid D rating here in a terrible match. Damnation goes over the Blue World Order, some of our developmental talent, but they don't really need to be developmental talent. They can probably be called up at any time, but I like them in the developmental kind of being in the jobber position here as well. So anyway, the BWO, Blue Meanie, and Hollywood Supernova losing to Damnation here in 3 minutes 46 seconds after Rodney Mack gets the pinfall by a Tiger Bomb finish on Nova. Ron Simmons carried the match in terms of in-ring performance. Pretty vocal crowd here, didn't seem particularly thrilled by seeing Rodney Mack wrestle. He's the shit apparently. What was it? He's not as bad as like freaking some of the other people. Like I don't know why they hate him so much when the Ballard brothers got like a 13 or something, right? Well, whatever. 41 solid D rating here. Again, that could be lower than Eric Angle's actually. Because I think Rodney could be in the 40s and 45s as well. So if that's the case, oof, he's performing really below his skill gap, and I don't know, he might be just completely useless. Might just want to cut our losses before we get him too popular. Anyway, though, maybe that's why they weren't too thrilled with seeing him wrestle. Anyway, this did cool the crowd a little bit here, but we got an action-packed show, hopefully packed, so hopefully it'll bring him back up, right? Ron Simmons really stood out. When you're teamed with Rodney Mack, apparently you'll be able to. I mean, here's the thing though. He was only 1 point below Nova. That's why I'm confused. Like, why are they so vocal against him, but they're fine with someone like Nova or the Blue Meanie? Okay, fine. Anyway, as we already pointed out, Rodney Mack with a 31 in-ring performance, which I want to try to remember to check the popularity of Rodney Mack. I don't remember what Eric Angle performed at. I want to say he was like a 38 because I remember saying something like it could be like a 45, and he could be like a good almost 10 points lower. But I don't remember. I might go back and look or something if I can later. Rodney Mack was a 31. I want to see how bad, and I might look at Jazz later as well, and I want to see how lower they are compared to their popularity. Anyway, Ron Simmons with a 71 71 in-ring performance, as always. He really stood out in this match here tonight. Nova with a 32, and the Blue Meanie with a 36. Somehow better than Nova. Who would have ever thought that? No worker improvements, though. 41 for the matchup. We then go to a 51 D+ rating here. After the match is over, Damnation kick the Blue World Order out of the ring before Ron Simmons takes to the mic, and he says, "Last week, in case you all missed it, Damnation sent a message to everyone in the tag team division. We won't let a flock of cultists or a family of angles jump in front of us anymore. No longer will Ron Simmons and company wait until creative has something for us. We take what we want, and we want what's owed to us. So Angles, if you're smart, you'll stay your ass at home and keep your nose out of Damnation's business. And as for you Dudleys, well, Bubba, you just stay your fat ass down. But Devon, my brother Devon, you don't need to live in the large, very large shadow of your brother any longer. You don't need to waste your life away being a Dudley when you can join us. There's a reason we left you alone, and that was to give you time to think. You knew exactly why we left you there. But the time for thinking is over, Brother Devon. I'm offering you a spot. If you want to take it. Come on. All you gotta do is don't show up for that title match, and then we'll truly know that you're on our side. Don't make me take you out, Brother Devon. Make the right choice." So some threatening words there from almost called him Brother Devon, from Ron Simmons, but at the same time, he's offered him a spot, so it's funny, he calls Raven a cultist, but kind of acting like a cult himself. Anyway, it did lose heat for the storyline there, which is a bit unfortunate. Moving on, though, we go to a 63 solid C segment here as we are now backstage in the Angles locker room. Eric is furious. He's storming around, and he goes, "Who the heck do these darnation guys think they are? They want to talk about us cutting in line? We'd be the tag team champions right now if it wasn't for their interference." All right, calm down, Eric. I can't calm down. Maybe you can be calm since you've won plenty of championship gold here in the WWE, but I've yet to win any. And those darnation fellas cost me my one shot. Well, I guess I never really looked at it that way. I didn't mean to come off as selfish or, disinterested. Look, winning the tag titles with my brother is just as important to me than winning the WWE Championship. I'll find a way to make this right. Don't stress about it, okay? I'll find a way. And looks like Kurt and Eric, despite Damnation telling them just to stay out of their business, they want that tag gold. They ain't gonna stay into no business. 63 solid C here. Moving on, we have, I believe, a match. No, not a match. I think there's a segment after this again. Big angle heavy show tonight. I want you guys to be well aware. Why is it? I swear I'm pressing it. There we go. 44 solid D rating as we join Jonathan Coachman. I'd imagine anytime we join like Michael Cole, Jonathan Coachman, Mean Gene Okerlund, any of the backstage interviews, imagine that JR and King send it away like, "Oh, well, interesting there from the Angle brothers, and they'll blah, 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 and talk about a match. Now we got our colleague Jonathan Coachman standing by with the pimp party." Something like that, All right, ladies and gentlemen, in just a few moments, the ladies will be in action after weeks of Molly Holly saying horrible thing after just horrible thing. Tonight, you, Tracy Brooklyn, will get Molly in the ring one-on-one, and I bet that's got to be exciting for you. Coach, you couldn't have said it better. I couldn't have said it better myself. Molly has called me every nasty name in the book, from slut to whore. Let me be the first to tell you that I ain't neither slut nor whore. I may like a good party here and there, but I've got much more respect for myself than that. And for Molly to drag my name through the mud, just because she's insecure with, I said insecure, what the hell? Just because she's insecure with her looks, well, let's just say, I'm going to feel good dragging her fat ass around that ring. And maybe Coach, well, you heard it here, back to you, So that did lose a little heat for that, but Tracy's got some good entertainment, so I think she just needs a little bit more popularity, and she can actually be maybe a good threat. She's got decent entertainment, and we're more entertainment than wrestling, so at the very end of the day, she could be a pretty good threat for the women's division. It doesn't take a lot for the women's division, unfortunately, but like honestly, Jazz, Tracy, and Lufisto kind of are at the same popularity as a lot of the other females, so it's kind of easy to get the female at least to the same pop as most of the female. Trish, on the other hand, is pretty freaking popular. Come on, Molly, you were supposed to do a little better. And this kind of spoils something, but whatever. 35 E+ rating here. Unfortunately, this is an abysmal matchup here. I was hoping for a little better, but Tracy just isn't that great in the ring. She's actually pretty bad. But they don't hate her like they hated Rodney Mack. I mean, let's be honest. You look at her. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I know she's in the 40s, but she's like in the 19s, so she might stick to managing for now. Maybe we can get her with a different person to manage and help her popularity out a bit more, because oof, Molly definitely carried this match, and she was not doing too well herself. Anyway, an abysmal matchup here. Molly Holly does indeed go over Tracy Brooklyn in 5 minutes, 38 seconds with the Molly go round after a distraction from the returning Gregory Helms. Gregory Helms, who has been out with injury for quite a long time. He was around the beginning of the invasion. He was our Cruiserweight champion, I believe, set to defend the championship, and he was injured in a matchup, I believe, with Rey Mysterio it was. I'm not entirely sure if it was Rey, but I believe it was Rey Mysterio. It could have been someone else. But anyway, got injured, and like I think it was like a torn ligament in his knee or something. He was out for like almost a full year. But he's back, baby, and he's back with Molly Holly like he's supposed to be. And yeah, good stuff to go around, right? Good stuff to go around. Gregory Helms is back. Molly with an in-ring performance of a 43. Tracy with a 19. Definitely lost heat for the feud. I was hoping to see some improvement from Tracy there, but not going to happen. All right, afterwards we go to a C plus 67 rating here. I was expecting this, honestly, to do a little bit better, but maybe Michael Cole was rated. I don't think he was, though, so I'm surprised this didn't do as good. Anyway, 67 C plus rating here. Hulk Hogan, we see him walking in the parking lot, and Michael Cole, who was awaiting the arrival of Vince McMahon, of course, sees him, and he goes, "Wait, Hulk! What do you want, Cole? Where are you heading? Is this about what you said earlier?" "It's exactly what I said earlier. I'm bringing the party to the Click, brother, and I meant it." "You don't even know where the Click are, though." "Cole, I'm Hulk freaking Hogan. I've got connections everywhere, dude. I know exactly where the Click are. You know what? In fact, you want to go for a ride, Cole?" "What do you..." "Well, only to keep you out of trouble." "You come too, camera guy. You're going to want to record this." Oh, that hurt. That last one hurt. So it looks like Hulk Hogan is indeed bringing the party to the Click, and it looks like he's bringing Cole and the camera guy with him. So we're going to get some coverage of it as well. This was also my excuse to explain why Hulk Hogan would have a camera with him to where they're going, because why would we have a camera there? I can kind of get away with explaining why there's cameras with Eric Angle and Kurt Angle and the locker rooms and all that, because the way I like to imagine it is they're like important areas like locker rooms and certain places in the hallway. There's cameras are all the time because we're live and anything can happen, so we capture everything, kind of thing. But then we can't go to a store like Booker T and Stone Cold did. We have to have an actual cameraman there. That's how I that's kind of my way around it there. So anyway, 67C plus. I thought this would really do a lot better. Part of me wants to say it's because Michael Cole. I mean, I can't believe it's Hulk Hogan. He's Hulk freaking Hogan, you know? It's like, but to not even get like a B minus, and I think even a B minus is low. I expected this to be like a B, B plus, maybe even an A minus. It's interesting. Maybe it tells me on the dirt sheet low locker room morale and Hulk Hogan just has poor momentum, so that's about the only thing I can think. Very interesting. Anyway, 72 B minus because as Hulk Hogan and Cole and company drive away, Vince McMahon arrives. He is here, and it's kind of shocking. They're like, "There he is. It's Vince McMahon. I can't believe he showed up. He's really got to fight him, JR." And Vince McMahon has arrived after all the chaos with Hulk Hogan. 72 B minus. That did better alone with the Michael Cole thing. That really makes me think it was Michael Cole. We go to a 36 D minus rating. You know, I'm not going to lie to you guys. I really like the way this show was booked. But a lot of these segments are making me go, this might not be a good show. Just going to say it now. Might not be a good show. Especially because Hulk Hogan didn't deliver like I thought he was. So one of those during the commercial break videos air, like, well, during the commercial break, we caught up with Molly Holly and the returning Gregory Helms. And they're, of course, backstage bragging to the camera about, Molly's win. Molly's all, "Did you really think I was going to go out there in a 3-on-1 situation? Wow. Tracy, you're really fitting the stereotype for a dumb bimbo well. Maybe you should spend less time partying and more time training and coming up with a better strategy. You see, I knew you'd have your guys out there, but I doubt any of you 3 were even sober long enough to even think that I was going to bring my guy." And then that's when Helms kick in. "Yeah, that's right. Kid Vicious is back, baby. And you know Molly? You know Molly and I are putting everyone in the men and the women's division on notice. Tracy, sorry but not sorry. You and your boy toys had to be the example. But hey, someone had to be. Come on, babe. Let's get out of here. Until next time, Tracy. And then off the camera, I'd like to maybe imagine they caught Molly asking Gregory Helms, like, hey, babe, you don't think I got a big butt, do you? Because maybe kind of showing that line of Tracy calling her a fat ass earlier kind of got at her a little bit. Still lost heat for the storyline, which I'm starting to wonder, how much freaking heat did you guys have? Like, I didn't think you were that over in a storyline, but anyway, though, ooh, baby, you didn't have to do this to me, Kane, but you did. Ooh, baby, why'd you do this to me? Ooh, Kane bringing it up here with a match that might have saved the damn show at this point in the night, really. Good Lord. Thank you, Kane. 77 B. Solid B rating here. Decent matchup here. Kane goes over Perry Saturn in 10 minutes, 23 segments. After Perry Saturn was disqualified when Raven & Co. came in and attacked Kane because, you know, the Flock are there. And the Flock pretty much want Kane's Intercontinental Championship. Or should I say Raven wants his championship. So the announcing quality did lift the match. This was apparently a poorly placed matchup here. The Wild Brawl kind of needs a crowd who is buzzing and ready for action, and our crowd was kind of tired because we haven't been hyping them up as much as they should have been. So understandable, but that makes me wonder how good this match would have done if they were buzzing, you know? Either way, of course, Boss Man hitting at the face turn doesn't get much of a reaction apparently, but that's fine. Perry Saturn with an in-ring performance of a 66, and Kane with an 81. And Saturn is also improving in his performance skills, so good for Perry, making the most out of this match. We do not want to make any turns or anything else happen. And then afterwards, we go to a 68 C+ rating here as the Flock continues their beatdown on the Big Red Machine. And while the fans chant and they anticipate the arrival of The Undertaker, because we've seen Vince McMahon is here, so we all know The Undertaker's here, and his brother's getting beaten up, so he's got to be here. Raven demands that the Flock hold Kane up and hold him still as Raven walks behind Kane and begins to try to take his mask off. And of course, I believe Kane's mask is one of those ones that have like buckles on the back or something, so you have to do that. But Kane, of course, proves to be way too strong for the Flock here as he pulls his arms together and forcing Boss Man and Saturn kind of to collide into each other there, maybe headbutting. And remember, Bossman and Saturn are undercover cops investigating the Flock, so they may have willingly let themselves go because they don't want Raven's plans to go through. But you didn't hear that from me. Anyway, I don't know what that was all about. But either way, they went colliding into each other, and Vampiro, he tries to run at Kane, maybe try to hit him with the mist, but he gets chokeslammed for his troubles there. And of course, during all that chaos, Raven manages to slide out of the ring untouched, as always. And even worse for Kane here, during all that chaos going on, Daphne manages to grab a hold of the Intercontinental Championship and now has handed it over to Raven. And as the rest of the Flock, of course, minus Vampiro, so mostly Perry Saturn and Boss Man, as the rest of the Flock, make their way and stumble over to join Raven. Raven poses with the tag team titles with the Intercontinental Championship, as the camera's kind of close to him, so he's just bragging to Kane how he's in his head. It's all about the mind games or something. So Kane almost got away with getting the mask, and Raven almost got away with getting the mask, but he did get away with the Intercontinental Championship. It's not his. He's not recognized as the champion, but he does have possession of the championship, and possession is 9/10 of the law, they say. Whatever the hell that means. So moving on, we do not want to handle any changes yet because I think they're talking about the face turns and whatnot. We then move on to an 81 solid B. Guys, is Kane over? Because he might be over. Video plays a code of, showing Kane. This is, I imagine, maybe after the commercial break, like a commercial break has aired and now we're back from commercial break. So video play showing Kane just throwing stuff around backstage. He's having a freak out. Oh, I guess maybe this was during the commercial break. I don't like that. I'm going to change that. No, because we've already done a commercial break thing, and I don't want to do two. So he's just kind of freaking out backstage after losing the match and losing his title, most of all, and almost his mask. And Vince McMahon, who is, still kind of just arriving, I guess, approaches him as he's walking around the backstage before things kind of get violent here. And he goes, hey, What the hell do you think you're doing? You think this is any way to act? You think this is how you... Hold on. You think this is how you react to getting your ass kicked in the ring? No. You know what you do? You know how you're going to get back at Raven and his followers? McMahon's and Hogan's voices are too similar. You walk right up to him and you set his whole damn group on fire. Because you're the big red machine. Damn it. Not Rudolph the big red reindeer. You know what else, Kane? That's 2 weeks your brother, The Undertaker, has left you high and dry. Now, I don't want to drag you into my issues, but it seems like our issue may be the same, if you catch my drift. Maybe you take some of that pent-up frustration on being left behind by your brother, now 3 times in your life, because we can't forget about your tragic past. Maybe you take all that anger and you use it against The Undertaker. Or, excuse me, did I say The Undertaker? I meant to say, you use it against the flock. Sorry. And then Vince walks away, maybe leaving Kane to think there for a moment, you know? Like, maybe I do use it against The Undertaker. I mean, the flock. And, I had more for that, but I kind of like my screw up because originally that wasn't what I had planned to say there. But I like the screw up there. You know, I like the idea of Vince accidentally saying The Undertaker and then being like, "Oh, I meant the flock." Anyway, and then walking away. This did get the crowd hotter, gained some heat for the downfall for the dead man. So I'm excited at least for the main event. Hopefully that'll be good as long as Vince McMahon holds up, but he never does. 38 D- here, just a freestyle segment, just kind of hyping up the new team or stable that'll be debuting here, Blackman's Dojo, which will be Steve Blackman kind of being the manager / single person in the match with his students, Hayashi and Tajiri. I'd imagine this kind of just being kind of like a commercial spot, like, do you want to kick ass or something like that? You want to be, you know, a martial artist or something like that? Kind of one of those cheesy karate commercials that try to get you to, you know, go to Steve Blackman's karate school. That's just kind of what we're going with here. Anyway, 38 D- for that. We then move on to a 45 solid D rating here in a terrible match. Rhino goes over another developmental star, Nick Dinsmore. But this match did not go long because Rhino runs in and does not hit a freaking pile driver. Runs in and just hits him with a gore and gets 35 seconds later. Maybe we just take that 35 seconds and say 5 seconds later with a gore. I like that better. 45 solid D rating for the matchup here. Apparently, Rhino and Nick Dinsmore don't click, and it showed in their performance. Not sure, because even without me changing it to 5 seconds, it was only like 35 seconds long, so Nick Dinsmore didn't compete, really. But whatever. This did cool the crowd a little bit, which is unfortunate, because we just got them fired back up. Rhino did look excellent out there, had an in-ring performance of the 66, and Nick Dinsmore with a 12 in-ring performance. So, again, not entirely sure what you did, but you did something. But they weren't mad about him competing, but they were mad about Rodney Mack. Dinsmore somehow is improving in his performance skills. Okay. I don't know how. Anyway, ooh, baby, well, you didn't have to do that. Rhino. Did we say Kane is over? Yeah, I'm sorry. I think we meant Rhino is over. 85 B+ rating? Rhino, you didn't have to. Anyway, the match is over, but Rhino is looking to send a message as he rolls out of the ring, goes under the apron, and pulls out weapons of a variety. Chairs, a stop sign, kendo sticks, a table, and even a black bag. Ooh, you know what's usually in those. Before, of course, getting back in the ring, he picks up the kendo sticks and he just smashes over the back of this young man here until, of course, it's cracked and just broken to pieces. He throws the stick to the side and then picks up the steel chair, bends it over the back of Nick Dinsmore before doing the same with that stop sign, just bending it over the back of Dinsmore over and over and over. Before it pretty much just says top now. before finally Rhino sets up that table in the middle of the ring. He picks Dinsmore up. He does Goldberg's taunt, the whole cross of the throat, before lifting him Dinsmore up in the air and hits the young man with his own version of the jackhammer through the table, putting him through the table. Dinsmore is just knocked out, and with a smile on his face, Rhino then asks for the mic. He takes the mic and he goes, "You see this, Bill? This is what you have to look forward to. While you may not have accepted the match yet, let's not act like you're not gonna. So when you step into my world, Bill, this is how it's gonna be. Except it's gonna be worse for you, Billy. I don't even know who this guy is." Clear my voice here a little bit. "So what do you think I'm gonna do when you and I come face to face? But this time, the referee's not gonna be there to stop me from breaking a cane or bending a chair over your back. That won't stop me from embarrassing you by finishing you with your own pathetic move." And speaking of embarrassment, and that's when Rhino goes up and picks up that bag from earlier. "The ref won't be able to stop me from forcing you to relive your past." Rhino then goes in the bag and he pulls out and says, "Or maybe I'll just shock you to death with this taser and cost you another winning streak. Either way, Billy boy, you step into my world, you're gonna get hurt." And then as Rhino turns to leave, Nick Dinsmore, who is being helped up by the referees now, gets gored again before Rhino just smiles and walks off. Message sent to Goldberg. 85B Plus definitely got the crowd hotter. They were in to Rhino beating the living hell out of Nick Dinsmore. 82 solid B rating as JR and the King get word from Michael Cole that they have arrived at the club that the Click is at, and that they will try and capture as much as they can. JR tells Cole to just be careful out there, and Cole looks at, replies by saying, "JR, I've covered wars, you know." Nice little Dead Rising reference there for those who got it. We then go to Cole's camera feed, and we see Hulk Hogan walking up to the front door of this club before being stopped by the security guard. Fans, of course, are freaking out. I mean, it's Hulk Hogan there. And, of course, the guard asks for his name, and Hulk Hogan says, "Hulk Hogan." And he, of course, as you would expect, the guy goes, "I'm sorry, sir. You're not on the list. You'll have to wait in line." "I don't think you heard me, Jack. I'm Hulk freaking Hogan, and I've got business to take care of, and I'm not waiting to get in, sir." And then Hogan stops him before he can even finish his sentence because the "sir" was what he said, but I made Hulk Hogan say it too. Anyway, Hulk Hogan clocks him with an overhand punch that causes this guy to stumble back and fall into the fountain, of course. So he's pretty much knocked out because this is Hulk Hogan. You get punched by Hulk Hogan, it's like being punched by the Hulk, right? Unless you're a WWE wrestler. Hulk Hogan, then begins to make his way into the club, but not before turning to the crowd, who, of course, waiting to get in. And he goes, "Cole, you two follow and stay close to me. I want you to capture every minute of this. Everyone else, let's party, shall we?" I'm going to go ahead and pull up my other handy-dandy notepad here because this was a big one and it wasn't going to fit on the notepad, so I figured I'd just put it here. So that's when Hogan and the crowd rushed their way into the club here, causing a confusion amongst the riot going on now because, well, you got everybody in the club who are partying, who are now freaking out there with everyone running in. Security's trying to get a hold of everything, but there's a lot of people following freaking Hogan in there, so they're having a hard time, and Hulk Hogan and co. are just searching for the Click because Hogan's using them as a distraction pretty much to cause this chaos and allow him to get to the Click. Of course, it doesn't take him long to locate Big Kevin Nash, as you can see him just hurling people left and right. until Hulk Hogan comes at him and the two fight for a bit until Shawn Michaels jumps in and on the Hulk Hogan's back, taking him down for a bit. The two Kliq members then double team on Hulk Hogan for a few, but Hogan manages to get an upper hand after Shawn Michaels misses the super kick and hits Kevin Nash with it, stumbling him backwards for a bit, allowing Hulk Hogan to gain the upper hand on the much smaller Heartbreak Kid here. Shawn, of course, going to be doing his best to keep away from Hulkster. He doesn't want anything to do with Hulk Hogan or anything in a one-on-one situation. Kevin Nash is practically taken out, so he's running away with his tail tucked between his legs, or maybe his smile going back to his mama. Either way, though, he keeps away from the Hulkster, but by doing that, he accidentally ends up leading Hulk Hogan to Triple H, who was waiting in the VIP box, of course, protecting Stephanie McMahon, his wife. Hogan then, of course, immediately turns his attention over to Triple H. He don't care about Shawn Michaels. He wants Triple H, who is obviously on the phone. We can clearly see him on the phone with the police because he's screaming, he's in the room, and Stephanie's just screaming in the background. And, of course, before Hulk Hogan can really get his hands on Triple H, as the cookie always crumbles here, we hear the freeze. And as the camera turns around, we quickly see the police on scene with guns pointed at Hogan, clear as day guns, before WWE cuts the feed because, well, if you remember the Brian Pillman thing, they got a little controversy over that. So we made this seem a little real here, but Hulk Hogan he just invaded a club. This ain't the WWE. He invaded a club out in real life, attacking, going after the Kliq, attacking Triple H and them outside of WWE. So this isn't protected by Vince McMahon and the World Wrestling Entertainment. And he caused the riot as well. So costing this club a lot of money at the same time, and he's going to get arrested most likely. Triple H taking the coward's way out, but at the same time, what are you going to do when you see a whole club going on right around you? Anyway, I really like that segment. I hope you guys did as well. I'm a little tired, so I may not have done it as justice as much as I would have liked to, but I like that segment. I was one of the most, I think one of my favorite things that I booked in here was Hulk Hogan invading the club, and I think this would be one of those segments that people remember for a long time, like kind of like the Stone Cold Booker T thing or something. Like they'll be like, you remember that time Hulk Hogan invaded a club in Hawaii to go after the Kliq? So I don't know. I thought that'd been cool. Anyway, Hulk Hogan improvised well. Triple H apparently did not do well with the script to follow. That's unfortunate for him. You would think he'd be good. Kevin Nash did well. Shawn Michaels also did well with the improvising, so only Triple H sucked, which is like the main focal point of the feud. This did get the crowd hot, of course. Stephanie performed poorly, but that's to be expected. 82, solid B rating here. Again, you would kind of want this to maybe be a B+. Hell, I would even have taken an A, but with the backstage kind of being down, it kind of sucks. That backstage really, really affects you. I wish I wouldn't have done that drug test, but hindsight being 2020. We then go to a 51 D+ rating there, as I'd imagine maybe we're with JR and King, where I can hear him saying, well, we're being notified now that yes, indeed, Michael Cole, the cameraman, and Hulk Hogan have all been arrested right now, and blah, 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 because, Michael Cole and them are like witnesses to crime kind of here. But, and the cameras will most likely be taken away, but it was live, so we got to capture it all. But now we got to send you back to Jonathan Coachman as we try to gain control over this broadcast or something like that. So back to Jonathan Coachman now, and he goes, well, JR King, I'm a bit of a loss for words after what I just saw, but I'm going to try and erase my mind here because right now that's not important because I've got 3 beautiful women joining me right now, Lita, Lufisto, and the WWE Women's Champion, Trish Stratus. And I know it doesn't show Lufisto here, but she's here because she manages Lita. Okay, so we do need to fix Lita's gimmick. Trish, I think, is fine, but Lita, we need to fix Lita's gimmick. So let's go ahead and take out Trish. Watch the next thing say her gimmick's getting stale too. Anyway, moving on. I didn't finish this stuff. So Tristan goes, you sure it wasn't us that got you all flustered, Coach? Well, it could have been. Ladies, the challenge was made and accepted. Tonight, you two get Jackie and Jazz in tag team action. And Trish, you'll be defending that title against Jackie as well, so this has got to be a good scouting opportunity for you. Well, while it might be a good scouting opportunity for me, it's also a good scouting opportunity for Jackie as well. And given that Jazz is her pupil, I suspect that she'll be doing a lot of the heavy lifting tonight. Wow, a lot of thought went into this, Trish. Well, I do take being women's champion very seriously. And if I want to stay champion, I've got to plan ahead. And then finally, that's when Lita chimes in herself, and she goes, well, where am I at? Okay, we're only at promo 3. If Jazz plans on doing all the heavy lifting, then you can just take the day off as well, champ. Because this beef between Jazz and I is a bit more personal than just championship aspirations. Jazz went after my girl Lou. She tried to take my career away by injuring me. So you and Jackie can scout each other on the apron. Jazz is mine. And then Lita storms off, and Trish just goes, what's her issue? And by the way, I'm glad I looked at this because I did forget about this. Before we move on to the tag team matchup, I would like to point out that, well, I'll point it out when we get to it. I'll point it out when we get to it because I don't want to spoil anything, but I'll point it out. Anyway, 51 D+ rating here, advancing both the segments, so it didn't lose any heat, which at least that's good. We then go on to that tag team match, which is a 58 C- rating here. And a poor matchup, Jacqueline and Jazz do end up defeating Trish Stratus and Lita in 12 minutes 45 seconds after Jacqueline defeats Trish Stratus by illegally using the ropes for leverage. I wouldn't say she illegally used the ropes for leverage, so let's go ahead and erase that. I'd imagine maybe Jazz did the damage, and then Jackie kind of comes in after Jazz goes after Lita. Like, Jazz tags in Jackie because, Jackie wants to get the pin to prove her point. Or actually, you know what? Cut that. I would actually like to imagine that Jackie beat Trish. Beat her. Maybe cheated to... God, I had a burp. Sorry, excuse me. Maybe cheated to beat her, but beat her still because Jazz and Lita are kind of fighting. And that leaves Trish to kind of be distracted because Lita's kind of abandoned her. And then Jackie is able to hit her with something. 1, 2, 3. Jackie wins. And maybe even poses with the Women's Championship for a bit. So there we have that. Jazz was the weak link, struggling to keep up with everyone else's in-ring performance. She had a 36. So let me write that down. I want to write that down so I can check to see the popularity differences between them all. So those are my new ones recently. She was off her game though, which is unfortunately. So let's so it means she can perform better. Let's go ahead and put off game next to it so that way we know she can perform a little bit better than that. Jacqueline also seemed off her game. What, you guys don't like winning? Anyway, Lita with an in-ring performance of a 55. Trish with a 60, so she was the best, of course. Jazz with a 36, and Jacqueline with a 48. Of course, this gained heat for the Jazz and Lita storyline and advanced the Trish and Jackie storyline. And the thing that I wanted to bring up here is Trish was going to complain, actually, when we had Jacqueline and Jazz being set to go over. It said that Trish had looked like she was going to complain, but the intimidating sight of Jazz, not Jacqueline, Jazz cracking her knuckles made Trish change her mind. So I think Jazz will be able to hold her own in this women's division. She ain't going to let anybody hold her back. And the fans didn't hate her performing. They just don't like Ronnie Mack. Worker improvement wise, Jacqueline is improving her performance skills and Jazz is improving her technical and performance skills, that's great because we want Jazz to improve. All right, moving on to our next segment here. We are about to have the main event of the night. 72 B- as the match is hyped. McMahon versus The Undertaker next. And if you don't want to be spoiled, pull up a new tab because, spoiler report, yeah, it wasn't a match. I'm sure a lot of you expected that. Anyway, 79, solid B rating to end off the show. It's main event time and the WWE Championship is on the line. First out, the challenger, the owner of the WWE, Vince McMahon, who to the shock of everyone is actually dressed to fight. A man on a mission here tonight as he fights for his friend, once who he thought was an enemy. McMahon enters the ring and awaits for the arrival of The Undertaker, who doesn't show up right away, surprisingly. And this leads to Vince McMahon taking to the mic and calling him out. "All right, dead man. Come on already, damn it. Let's get this over with." And then finally, the bell tolls. The room goes dark, and the bell tolls again. Lights back on, and we don't even get an entrance. The Undertaker stands in the middle of the ring with Eric Bischoff in his hand by the throat. And McMahon can't help but to go, Eric, come on, dead man. We had a deal. Put him down. Let the man breathe, damn it. Taker then looks over at Eric, kind of an intimidating look, before he tosses Eric to the ground and then turns his back to Vince McMahon, clearly showing that he is not afraid of Vince McMahon before he takes his hat off, his coat. The bell rings, and we get a very one-sided match that begins to take place here, with Vince McMahon getting, I'm just going to say it, no offense in. Not little to no offense in, just no offense in. The champ is dominating his challenger here, and he seems to enjoy every ounce of pain he is bringing his opponent. And of course, insisting on keeping the match going because The Undertaker is just enjoying it so much, he's refusing to let it end. The referee ends up just throwing the match out, a decision he would soon regret as The Undertaker... What? Did I not put a space here? I don't know what I was going for. Okay. Let's just do this thing because I don't know what I was writing. Yeah, The Undertaker grabs him by the throat. Okay, let me do this real quick. I don't know why I did that. Anyway, grabs him by the throat, slams him down, and gives the referee a choke slam practically. And meanwhile, while that's all going on, Eric Bischoff is trying to pull Vince McMahon out. Jesus, did I just write this nonstop without thinking hey, Steve, you might want to, I don't know, space it all out. That way you can read it. Thank you. Anyway, now we can read it. Sorry, it pisses me off. I should have done that on my own. Where was I at? Yeah, decision he was soon to grab them by the throat, slam them down. Meanwhile, Eric Bischoff tries to pull Vince McMahon out of the ring, but Taker not going to let that happen. He's not letting Vince McMahon get away that easily. Grabs the arms of Vince McMahon and pulls both him and Eric Bischoff of the ring because he's so strong. And just as things are looking bad for both the owner and the GM, well, I guess the owner of the WWE and the GM of Monday Night Raw, that's when fire burst from the stage, and out comes the big red machine. As you remember earlier in the night, Vince McMahon kind of planted a seed in the head of Kane, and Kane almost lost his mask tonight, and he lost his championship. The Undertaker could have helped him, but he didn't. He didn't even help him last week when it was Kane and Hulk Hogan versus The Click. He didn't even show up. So it looks like Kane might have picked his side, or, maybe I'm reading too much into it, or maybe I spoiled stuff. Who knows? Anyway, the big red machine makes his way to the ring with the mission and instantly turns and goes after his brother the second he gets in the ring. So he's not waiting. He wants The Undertaker. He says, you've betrayed me. I don't like the person you become. I'm taking you back from the devil myself, pretty much. As Satan's favorite siblings battle it out in the ring, Bischoff manages to get out of the ring with Vince McMahon. And meanwhile, back in the ring, the WWE Intercontinental Champion now has control over the WWE Champion, and he lifts him up for a chokeslam, but before The Undertaker can hit the mat, this time the lights go back out, but they don't come back on. And the room remains dark. The lights don't come back on. We don't see it come on. The room remains completely dark until the fire from the ring post that Kane obviously lit himself reveal Kane's in the ring by himself. No Undertaker laying on the mat. We didn't even hear, a slam on the mat. So Undertaker was able to get away unscathed, but the battle lines have been drawn. It seems like the Brothers of Destruction are no more as we end Raw with only the fire lighting the arena. The fire from the ring post lighting the arena with Kane standing alone. And I assume Mr. McMahon and Bischoff are running up the ring, or up the apron. Not even apron. Rampway. That's what I want to say. Performance of The Undertaker was good. Eric Bischoff was underwhelming, but he is very underpopular considering all three of these guys, I would think. So he has a little catching up to do. Gained heat for the storyline, though. 79, solid B rating. You can't hate that. All right, here we go. We end off the show, and what do we get? Hopefully we didn't lose popularity. Yep, we did. One of my favorite Raws that I've booked lost us popularity in 18 regions. Shame. 76 B- rating. That backstage popularity is kicking, or backstage popularity. That backstage rating is kicking our ass. Hopefully that'll raise soon. I mean, it's raised up to 80%, so hopefully soon it'll raise up a little more, but shite. My recommendation to everyone playing Total Extreme Wrestling, don't fully drug test your roster. Horrible idea. Anyway, though, okay, we're done with the loading. I was going to say this is the end of the action portion of the program, so if you want to move on and from the video, you're more than welcome to, but if you want to stick around and see some extra stuff, you're always more than welcome to stick around as well. Apparently, El Zorro is now the AAA Mexican National Middleweight Champion. Not sure if that's the main championship, but he's the champion. Good for him. Oh no! Vern Gagne passed away. Shame. Rest in peace, Vern Gagne. He might be our next Hall of Famer. Gonna remember that. Let's go ahead and put him on there. Hall of Fame 2002, or I guess this would be 2003, right? Vern Gagne. It's gotta be. Let's see, last night's Raw was pretty good. People enjoyed it, but we're just not doing good. Anyway, Nova is unhappy with the push we're giving him and thinks he should be better. I don't think you're on my roster, so I don't really care. Beulah is now skinny. I didn't know she wasn't before. TNN are unhappy with Monday Night Raw. That's a shame. Kevin Ash says Rodney Mack does not connect with the fans. We should probably write the kid off. I might agree with you. Hulk Hogan says Rodney Mack does not connect with the fans. We should probably write the kid off. Again, I might agree with you. Incident involving Perry Saturn. Oh no. Steroid user. Well, again, we can't send people to rehab for that. How many disciplinary logs? Oh boy. He's got quite a lot of steroid problems. One of these days, I'm going to have to fire one of you guys for the steroids. But I feel like there's so many freaking people that do steroids in the company that it would be a horrible decision to do that. Okay, what do I want to do? I don't really want to check a whole lot. The only thing I really want to check here is I want to check the popularity of people. Oh, I can't see the notebook. Let's do this real quick. I'll copy that. And I did close the notepad. We'll do that. And just bring that down. Actually, bring it back up. Eric Angle, 38. So he's a 38, and his popularity in Hawaii was a 40. Probably a little better now. So he only performs 2 points below his rating. That's not too bad, actually. That's not really bad at all. It's pretty good. Rodney Mack. Ooh, boy. This is one I'm worried about. Okay. So in Hawaii, he's 36. So he's not super popular in Hawaii, so it's not like he was really performing like if he was in the 40s or if he was in the 45s even. So 36 from the 31, so he's only performed, well, only to put it lightly, but he's 5 points below his popularity level. That could be pretty bad. He's got strong performance and physical, though. Like, I don't know what he's missing. Huh. Anyway. Lufisto should be next, right? Oh, Tracy's next. I didn't... what? No, I did, didn't I? Ah, crap. Lufisto was like a 38, I think, or something. So she performed better, I think. If she was a 38, she performed way better than her popularity in Hawaii. And you got to think, that was her offer game with Jillian Hall. But I don't remember what her performance was. But I want to say it was a 38. I don't know why I didn't write it down. Maybe it was Eric Angle I did 38, and I'm confusing the two. I don't remember what Lufisto's was. Tracy was bad, though. So what was Tracy's on this one? Her popularity in Hawaii is 17. So that gives her actually a lot of leeway. I'm not actually too concerned with Tracy. She actually performed above her popularity. Unless she went down somehow in Hawaii, which I doubt, she performed above her popularity, which is good. She's 17 pop in Hawaii, so that means she performs 2 popularity above her current. So with that logic, she should perform around like a 37 in like the tri-state area. So there's promise behind her. There's a lot of promise behind her, I think. It just sucks that we had her in Hawaii. So, and Jazz, which, yeah, oh my God. She was off her game. Remember that, too. So she did technically perform underneath her popularity, a good 4 points below, but she was off her game. So it's not the best judge. I don't know where she would have been at if she wasn't off her game. She could have just been at her popularity, which is 40. Because I find it hard to believe that she would be 4 point or 5 or more points below her popularity if she was off her game. So she might be just performing at her popularity, which isn't bad, but it's not the best either. All in all said, I'm kind of disappointed with that Raw. That was one of my favorite Raw books, but our backstage rating, which we can go look at right now real quick, still doesn't help out at all. It says we're at 100%. That's not true. We were at 8%, but it's going up at least. That's all I can say. It's going up. There's nothing I really can do to up it up. Everything in the backstage is like checked. Like everything I can give them besides a dirty doctor, because I'm not going to let them get drugs. But yeah. There's no dress code. There's nothing that'll make them mad, except for the no outsiders rule. But I'm kind of strict with that rule. No outsiders in my locker room. Anyway, though, that is going to be the end of this episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, do me a favor, leave me a comment, like, subscribe if you haven't already. And as always, my name's been OMG, WTF, LOTWBRB. I'm going to try to get this video up before I go to work today. It's going to be uploading while I sleep, so it should be uploaded beforehand. Hopefully nothing happens with the internet to prevent that. But if not, it'll be uploaded on the Tuesday. You'll know because you'll see it. I don't even know why I say these things sometimes. Anyway, my name's been OMG, WTF, LOTWBRB. If you like this video, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and don't forget to follow me on Facebook and like my Twitter, as always, even though I don't do shite on either of them. Anyway, that's going to be the end of this video. Share this video with your friends, your Facebooks, your Twitters, your Instagrams. I don't give a damn. Anyone you feel would enjoy my content, give them a share. Help your homeboy get some new subscribers up in this bitch. And I'm going to get some sleep because I've got work and I believe 7-something hours now or something like that. So.